Hi there, and welcome. This is Karen Whiting. Hi, welcome. This is Karen Whiting, and today I'm going to be talking about another Christmas book, a children's book, which is God's Gift by Leanne Mancini. And this has sea creatures who tell the story. And there are videos, there are books, and it's really wonderful. But before I get into that story, because we're going to be sharing a little bit in this book about Hanukkah and Christmas, I want to talk about a Hebrew word, which of course I probably can't pronounce right, but it's Zakhar, Zakar. That means to remember or be mindful of. It's used often in the Bible. In fact, we think of it very early on when the rainbow was put in the sky by God, and he said when he put that rainbow in and when he saw a rainbow, he would remember his promise that he made to Noah for all people throughout history. And there's also times when people ask God to remember them. I think the most popular or well known one of those is the thief at the cross who turned to Christ and believed in him and said, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." But the book of Nehemiah has a lot of uses of remember, where it starts when Nehemiah is praying and reminds God that he had said and wanted God to remember that when the people disobeyed, he understood they would be taken over by enemies and spread around the world. And when they turned back to God and remembered him, God would turn back to them and rescue them. So, and then right up to the very last verse in Nehemiah 13:31, Nehemiah also says, "Remember me for the good I have done." So we have a lot of those words on remember. And Christmas and Hanukkah is all about remembering God's gifts and what God has done. So even though the children fight in the beginning of this book about gifts and who gets more gifts, 8 days of getting gifts for Hanukkah or Christmas and a bundle of gifts at once, and the wise men. So what we really have here is when Jacob, and watch, he has a yarmulke on, he says, "I learned that Hanukkah isn't about the presents. A long time ago, there was only enough oil in the lamp for one night, but the oil lasted for 8 days. God gave us the miracle of light." And they are remembering a miracle that God did before Christ was born, a miracle with the Maccabees and other people at that time. And that's a very important thing to do, to remember God's miracles, that he gave them light. You know, everything began when God created light. And so that's an important thing. And then Christian responds and he says what he knows about. And he says, "Jacob, I learned that Christmas isn't about presents either. It's about the gift from God of his one and only Son, Jesus Christ, our Messiah." And so they each are sharing a little bit about their faith. And it's good for us to share our faith, whatever faith, whether you're Jewish or Christian, and to talk to other people, because that's how we learn. And that's how we also find out many things that God has done for us. And I'm just glad that you joined us today, and hope that you'll think about gifting a child with God's Gift by Leanne Mancini. So we got both the some things to do with Hanukkah and lights, as well as the nativity scene on here. And thank you for tuning in. I'll be putting up links there so you can find out more and get a lot of freebies. And also you could win a copy of this book, because one person who puts in a comment will win that. And Lisa, thanks for joining in, and anyone else who's here. And now it's time for me to end this video. So have a happy